What's going on, guys? Zach with Overland Zam, and today we're gonna make a headliner DIY style. Now to clarify, my headliners that I'm doing is the sole purpose to put my patches on. My girlfriend and I, we do a whole lot of off-roading. We get patches. I used to be an Eagle Scout, so patches are really cool to me, and she even found a nice affinity for patches herself. So as far as material goes, I have some felt fabric. They have headliner fabric at some places, but at the Michaels and Hobby Lobby that I went to, they didn't. So I got felt, because I Googled it, and felt fabric will Velcro to it. As far as the board, the main board that we're gonna be using, I ended up getting a 1/4 inch thick anti-acid board. They just had it. This one was $14. So I figured I would just go ahead and get it. It felt a little bit sturdier than poster board. So we have Gorilla mounting tape. This is what we're gonna use to mount our board to the Freedom top. I have a Sharpie. I mean, you could probably use whatever you have at home. I just had a Sharpie here. This is what we're gonna use to outline our other construction paper, and I'll go over that in a minute. This was one of the bigger costs. This is like $22 from Michaels. It's a Fisker's stapler, but it's heavy duty for thick materials. I figured that's what we would need because we're going through felt and foam, and that's what this is rated for. I didn't have one. If you have one at home, that'll save you about $25 for the project. Again, this whole project, because I didn't have this, was roughly $60, but that's including getting one of these. I got some sandpaper. I saw someone smoothed out the edges of their board with sandpaper, so I got just general purpose assorted amounts of sandpaper. Additionally, we have a Xacto knife. This is the Hobby Lobby version of it, and I got the medium duty. Finally, some Velcro. This already has the adhesive to it. This does not. I found this at Michaels. I'm a nurse. I have Shears. Don't use thick construction paper. Use something that's pliable. A newspaper would probably be your best bet into making your outline to transfer onto your foam board. Once when you have an idea of how big of a board you need, you can go ahead and cut your foam board into different sections. I ended up having enough room to have 4 sections of the board, which means I have 4 attempts to make our panels look great. To get a good outline, since I didn't have any newspaper, I ended up duct taping about 6 different paper towels together in order to have enough of an area. Once when I did that, in order to transfer our outline to the foam, I placed our paper towel outline on top of the foam board that we had already cut out, and then traced over that several times until it was successfully transferred onto the foam board. Once when it was transferred onto the foam board, all you need to do is cut around. I cut around the outside because we can always sand to fit, where if we cut along the inside and we cut too much off, you won't be able to add more on, so you'd have to start over from scratch essentially. So now what you're gonna wanna do is line up the board on the inside, and you wanna press down on it. There's still some wiggle room right now because I haven't sanded it yet. So I'm trying to see where all is pressed down. It feels like over here is pretty good. Over here can press down okay, but this lip is coming up, so I'll sand there. And then over here, this piece needs to be sanded a little bit more, so that way it'll fit right in place. But it seems like this part over here is pretty good. So when you're sanding this down, you gotta keep in mind that it is foam, at least what I have is. So a lot of dust particles are gonna get into the air. I recommend wearing a mask. You can wear whatever kind of mask. You can put a cloth over your face, or even go like this with your shirt. I, again, nurse, so I have a supply of masks. Easy, put on. You don't get any of that dust in your face. Safety first. This is what it looks like after it's sanded. I haven't done the felt on it yet, and this is a perfect fit. So we're gonna put the felt on there. So now it's time to get your shears or scissors, whatever you have to cut the felt. And I lined up the felt about, I mean, you could do an inch. I'm gonna do about 2 inches on the side, a little bit more than that on the bottom, and then go about 2 inches on the side over here. And then we're going to connect it to our foam. When you're stapling, you want to leave a little bit more room underneath. So I have this hanging off the side, and then this stapler acts kind of like a traditional stapler. It's just more heavy duty. So we would insert it in here, staple in, just being mindful that we don't go all the way through. If you have a staple gun, you could just staple gun it. I don't have it, and neither did Michael's. This is a heavy duty stapler. I'm sure a regular stapler could work. I just didn't want to risk it for the biscuit. And if I was buying a stapler, this was 20 bucks and I can use it on everything. A regular stapler is like 7 bucks and really only papers. So I like having the option, and that's why I went for this stapler. So here I am starting to staple one side. I'm pulling back, not so hard on this side, but on this side I'm going to go ahead and tug as hard as I can and staple it, and then I'm going to go toward the other side and repeat the process here. This allows less droop as you staple the rest of the way around. Remember, our template was for the driver's side, so it's going to end up looking like this. Before you do anything, go ahead and flip it over either to the left or to the right, not up and down. So I did that, I goofed, and whenever I did that, I stapled this part when I really should have stapled this part. So now's the time to take your finished headliner, line it up where you want her, and then you're gonna find a way to stick it on there now. So now I'm going to get my mounting tape. I'm gonna get it out of here and start mounting it to the Freedom panel, and I have it inside so that way I can let it sit for a little while. I'm gonna let it sit so that way that adhesive can really stick. We'll put it in the Jeep and see if we can put some patches on there. There's creases in here, you can see. I don't really know how deep they are, but they are pretty deep. What you're gonna wanna do is not even worry about putting adhesive here unless you have, again, you're putting insulation there and it's level with this part here. So we're really going to focus on the adhesive, probably like a piece here, here, and here, and then a piece here, here, and here. Being mindful though that we're not going to put any adhesive here, that's just not going to do anything for us. I'm not really a directions guy, but I think it is important to maximize our potential. Just because we don't want this falling off. This says to mount vertically, so that's gonna actually look more, instead of going horizontally like I suggested, probably a strip here, a strip here, 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 there, and there. So it's maximizing our surface area. We'll have, you know, maybe yay big of a strip that we'll do. I'm going to guess about that much. Take our handy dandy shears, cut that off. That's one strip. put that to the side. So I ended up going with 6 on this side and 8 on this side. So can confirm that you have enough to do the passenger side. What I did on this one instead though is I cut them a little bit shorter, but I staggered them. I feel like that's smarter than putting them side by side because you get more surface area. And I was even able to cut 2 more. So on this side I have 7 and on this side I have 9. And we still have some left over. And we still have some left over. All right, so when you've gone through the tedious hassle of peeling off all the backings, you can go ahead and get your felt piece. Should really just plop right in, no problem, which it did. And then I'm going to just apply pressure. If you have a weight, you could put a weight on top. What's going on, guys? So it's daytime now. Last night it got a little bit late. Like I said, was just tackling that problem. These things turned out great. I really think that you only need to let them sit for about 5 minutes. I ended up letting them sit overnight because by the time that I was done, it was like 12 o'clock. I wasn't gonna put the Freedom Panels on the Jeep when the weather was nice. So let me just show you how durable these things are. So you remember we anchored them with just the tape, and to be honest with you, I thought that that wasn't gonna really hold, but check this out. So I am pushing as hard as I can, and I'm actually moving this. I mean, that's on there. When I try to lift up, I'm trying really hard to lift that up, and it's not coming on. It's like it's cemented on there. I went to Moab recently. All I did was take the hook part over here, because you don't need the loop part since we have the felt. I took the hook part, put it on the back, place it right there, give it a little bit of a rub, and sure enough, it's only flimsy because that's not where the Velcro is. Boom. This is what the driver one looks like so far, and I have some patches back at home from our travels in the East Coast before I even started doing this. Just like the other one, this is pretty on there, and I can move it with just a finger and it's still anchored in. All right, so we're in the Jeep. We have the Freedom Panels back on top, and sure enough, that looks excellent. It really gives the Jeep a little bit more personality. That looks incredible. I'm a huge fan. And that concludes our video. So if you appreciated having a nice, affordable way to make some headliners, to put your patches on there, hopefully you learned something. Please give a like and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow. I am a small fish in a huge ocean, but I have no affiliations in making this video. I am doing it just for you, so that way you can make your Jeep as awesome as it needs to be. They're already great vehicles, but we all like to customize it the way that we want, and this will let you have your patches on there without spending $200+ All in all, if you have a lot of the materials already at home, this will cost you maybe less than $50. It cost me about $80 to make with all the materials, but that's because I had to buy a couple other things. $50, a couple hours out of your day, and you're saving yourself hundreds. That's pretty awesome. Again, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Check out our other videos. We're gonna have more soon. We're gonna try to do more DIY review videos, but also make time for our off-roading videos. We already have a couple on the channel. I'm learning the video editing stuff, so they're getting better as we do more things. Till next time.